Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, you might be like, what's wrong with Russia? Okay, Russia doesn't exist anymore, it just collapsed. Not in real life, obviously, but in this video, in this scenario. And one of the first things to happen is Ukraine's like, hey, Crimea looks tasty. But then ethnic minorities start declaring independence. Although some of these regions are actually ethnic Russian, but they have ethnic minorities within them. Like Karelia, I believe. Guess you can guess the most likely one. Chechnya and Dagestan will leave. Tanyutuva leaves. And a collapse means Russia's basically in this video a no law land. No one controls it, which is very scary if you consider the fact that Russia has, I think, more nukes than the US. It's a bit concerning. If this did actually play out, that would be bad. Declared independence. Don't worry about the bad borders, because that might be some bad borders. But let's go to the two other ones that will. One is a collection of different states, and we'll call it Tatarstan, because we can. And then we'll make Yakuts. I think ratified between Lithuania and Poland about the partition of Kaliningrad. With it being more in the favor of Poland. I wonder why. With them being quite a bit, it's pretty much 2/3 Poland, 1/3 Lithuania. But also, keep in mind, this is fair because Lithuania couldn't take 3 million Russians into its borders easily. It would make a mess. And now somebody else who does something is Finland. What a shocker. They go down almost to the city of St. Petersburg. At this point, and then Norway will be gave some of these lands, but Finland takes a big chunk. But not only is Finland involved, but Karelia also came to this conference, which gives them up down to there. So all three of these nations happily gave up lands. And
Yeah.
excuse me, but yeah. Now, Mongolia, Tanyutuva, Japan, North Korea, and yeah, they all meet over how to partition this. Yakutsk is all excited. And it goes out to here. Hope it goes a bit further, only because of these lands being part of China. So yeah, they do this. With the US being the first one to get a choice because they're strongest. And they choose these lands. Maybe a bit further in. That being a big chunk. They also give Japan this land. Japan not only takes this, but they also take a bit of land over here. Because China wouldn't allow them to take much. China gets second choice because it's the second most powerful nation. Only that it decides to go like this. But like this, there's probably going to be a war at some point. North Korea already took some. With it being up to Mongolia, Canada, and the rest. Canada decides to take land over here, but due to Yakutsk's want for some land, they only take that. Tanyutuva gets a big chunk of land, which makes their borders bad. China takes a little bit, and now the rest is Yakutsk territory. And so, after a conference, the only two lands that we don't need to do much about, in terms of borders, is Japan's and Sichuan. Now, due to Mongolia wanting more land, and China didn't get these lands because they didn't, Mongolia declares war on Tanyutuva. With it going to be an outright victory for Mongolia by the looks. China sees expansion and says, if Mongolia can expand, can't I expand to get more land? In exchange for a tiny bit of land, China and Yakutsk decided to join on the blue team. And Mongolia is in trouble at this point. Mongolia thought, oh, this will be a cakewalk, probably. Saying, oh yeah, it's just us against them. That wouldn't be a big deal. With China sweeping in Well, then again, let's not be too mean to Mongolia and just let them fall. They fell long ago, but yeah, we'll just speed it up so we don't need to watch Mongolia fall, because they're pretty cool. Held over in the Caucasus, let's talk about, and some parts of central Russia, which ends up with one major impact, with the Kola being part of Karelia. I'll fix that soon, yeah. And so over this area, with Belarus wanting to expand like this, which is a problem because this is how Ukraine wants to expand. Let's see how they want to expand. As you can see, a lot of overlap is happening, but Kazakhstan doesn't need too much erraticness. And then they give this to Turkey, because why not give them a port? They can build a port there, do whatever they want. With this being their claim, and then, yeah. From here you can see what Dagestan wants. Let's go through the countries who are very peaceful with this idea and aren't overlapping or threatening each other with war. Belarus agrees to giving up a claim to them to get an ally, because Ukraine's going to be the strong one, they know. But as we can see, Poland is seeing this and is questioning whether they should involve themselves. They're talking to Lithuania about this, with Ukraine going in and full-scale occupying this. Belarus says, I'm going to war with you if you take even the tiniest step forward, which Ukraine does. Which basically, they decide to continue moving, which causes a big war declaration over these lands, with Tatarstan getting involved. This is hopefully to stop them, but Tatarstan isn't getting their hopes up of winning. And they have went to Ukraine and are negotiating with Ukraine over these borders. And so that if we can reach negotiations, I won't send any troops against you. Which, basically, this became the negotiations over the region. So they get out of the war, and Belarus is still making a big dent into Ukraine, but this exchange, getting one of the nations off their back, was beneficial, as it allows them to focus on taking the occupied territories, as Belarus has been stalemated and unable to advance because of defenses being set up. With Belarus not having enough troops in this area to stop the Ukrainian offensive, and then as this is happening, Poland now calls in their two allies. But no, Latvia decides not, as it's not going to be good borders to take. But let's see. Before this war could get that bad, with Poland and them invading, Belarus has made a few tactical mistakes in this war, including going off against a nation with way more troops and everything. And this was the fall of Belarus. Latvia did send help, so they are awarded some land. With Finland being strong enough to be able to take St. Petersburg. I would say Finland and Ukraine would have the first two choices, though. But Finland doesn't get as much as it would probably want because of Karelia. But it doesn't want to invade anybody because that's just uncool in 2023, I guess. Well, yeah, kinda. Maybe it's not true. Who even knows? But that's why we should not fight. Because it's not cool. But yeah, that's not how the world works, unfortunately. You can't say what you want to happen. And you definitely can't even say what you think. Wait, what am I saying? Never mind. I said nothing. Well, do we even know what we say anymore? How we speak? Like the world is something. Why do I sound like a weird voice? But yeah. But yes, as we can see, Russia has been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 occupation zones. And only 2 nations had to be demolished in order for this to happen. Well, technically 3. Awful border-wise. Because ever I would grab land. But in reality, chances are, if Russia collapsed and stopped became in the land of anarchy. You'd really probably have groups starting to rise up and stuff. The government would be reformed, this partition wouldn't happen, and yeah. But I'd say nations would get independence in this, most likely. Most of the places with even a tiny bit of ethnic minority would probably leave Russia because that would benefit them. Think of it. They could get annexed. And Finland and Galeria, Finland is not Scandinavian, right? But it's Nordic. Yep, so is Galeria, I guess. You could technically say is technically the end of the peninsula if you look at it. If it wasn't for this tiny piece of land, they call it the Scandinavian island. It's pretty small. Or even this land, it would still be Scandinavian island. Or past here. Or here. You know. Or anyways, let's just continue on with the thing. And thank you for watching today's video. We have 140 subscribers to go to our goal, so please subscribe. So I got 1.06 thousand subscribers. Ain't that hard to believe? I guess not, because that's pretty good. So thank you for subscribing. That's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Wild Mapper out.